How do you find a remote job in 2025? If you've been looking for a remote job, you probably noticed that many of them have gone away in the last couple of years. And that is because many employers are moving their staff back to the office, and new positions are being posted without remote options. The good news is there's still remote jobs out there, but you have to know how to find them. I'm going to give you some ways to find remote jobs in 2025. The first way is to expand your keywords. If you go to job boards to look for remote jobs, you probably filter it by remote. You want to expand your keyword search to include terms that are interchangeable with remote, such as work from home, work at home, work life balance, home office, flexible options, flexibility. If you include these keywords in your search, that should give you a broader net to capture opportunities. Now, if you're familiar with the Boolean search, where you put quotation marks around keywords, that should help you to narrow down the jobs that have those terms in the job description. So, again, expand your keywords to not only remote or filter it to remote, also include keywords in your job search field to surface more remote jobs. The second way to find remote jobs is to look for work at home companies. Now, when I say work at home companies, I am talking about organizations that employed most, if not all, of their staff at home. That would be companies such as Live Ops, Lionbridge, Belay, Working Solutions. Those companies are known for remote workers because of the nature of their work. So if you want a remote job, you may want to look into these one of these companies. There are also companies out there that may not be classified as a work at home company, but they're known for having a lot of remote jobs. And those companies you also want to look into, such as Alasan, Elevance Health, and also Amazon, to name a few. There are many other companies out there. If you would like for me to list more companies, I can do that in another video post. Just let me know in the comments. The third way to find a remote job is to consider changing careers to one that historically has been remote or away from the office. So there are some jobs out there that through the years and before COVID were jobs that people did remotely because of the nature of the work. So, about 15 plus years ago, I was contacted by a recruiter before I got into recruitment. And those recruiters that contacted me about 15 plus years ago were remote. And that is because recruiting is an independent type of job and it needs a level of privacy. So it's common for recruiters to work remotely. And again, this has been before COVID. Another field is customer service, sales, and IT. Historically and moving forward, those fields will most likely continue to be at home jobs or jobs you can do at home. Now, also, there are jobs historically that may not be at a desk, but they are in the field. So they're not an office job, but they're also in the field. And those careers would be civil engineering, architecture, grocery shopping, court reporting. These careers rather are out in the field, and any of their administrative tasks are done either at their home office or in the office of their corporation that they work for, but the time is very minimal. So you may want to consider changing to a career that just by nature of the work needs to not be in the office. And so if you're in a stage in your life where working from home is important to you, you may want to consider one of those careers. The fourth way is to consider a job that only requires you to be on site once a week or occasionally, like once a quarter or 4 to 6 times a year. Even though it is in the office occasionally, it will feel like it is a remote job. For instance, I have worked a couple of jobs where the requirement was to be on site once a week. And it felt like a remote job because whenever I had a doctor's appointment, I would tell my manager and she would say, "Oh, just work from home this week." Or if a technician came to the house or it was the holidays and I had relatives in town, she would just say, "Oh, just work from home that week," or so forth. So there were many weeks where I didn't even go into the office and the job really felt remote. So if you're okay with going on site once a week or occasionally, you can consider those types of jobs. The way you find those jobs is filtering your job search to hybrid. That is because we recruiters post jobs, we are prompted to select whether it's on site, hybrid, or remote. And since it has a 1 day on site component to it, we will pick the hybrid selection. So when you go to the job boards, you want to filter it. You can filter it both by remote and hybrid, and therefore it will surface those types of jobs. This is a way that you can find remote jobs by considering going on site once a week or occasionally. The fifth and final way is to look closely at job descriptions. I'm in the trenches regularly finding jobs because it's the work that I do. And I come across many jobs as well as being a recruiter and posting jobs. And I can tell you sometimes the information in the body of the job description does not match the heading. So you may see jobs that state hybrid in the heading, but when you look closely at the job description, it could have in the body that is actually remote. Now, there are two reasons for that. Sometimes there are miscommunication between hiring managers and recruiters. And the other reason is recruiters are really busy. We can handle and manage up to 30, 35 jobs at one time. So it could be that recruiters did not catch the mistake. So you want to look closely at job description in the body to make sure that it that is not hybrid and actually remote, or if it is hybrid and not remote. And if you do see remote in the body of the job description and it has hybrid in the heading, the body of the job description is typically more accurate than the heading. So you want to go by that. Now, if you get contacted by the recruiter, you can confirm with the recruiter that it is remote and not hybrid. So again, look very closely at job descriptions because sometimes the heading could be different than what's in the body of the job description. If you want a remote job in 2025, consider these tips. And remember, whether a job is remote, hybrid, or on site, you want to be in a job or career that you'll be happy in. I hope you find these tips helpful, and I'll see you next video.